Holistic Wellness Show. Once again, welcome to God of Wonder TV. This is Holistic Wellness Show. Once again, we are grateful that you've been sharing and following us on this platform. Our conversation has been on our wellness, and we are talking about holistic wellness, the wellness of the body, the wellness of the mind and the spirit. We've had a conversation on our mental wellness. We've not reached the level of being able to touch on the body, and maybe just a snippet as we talk about the body. We'll be talking about nutrition. How does my food affect my body? How does sleep affect my well-being? How does maybe exposing myself to the sun affect my well-being, and how is it connected to mental health? How is it all this connected also to my spiritual aspect? Is just being able to understand what is this spiritual implication and what is the mental implication of our behavior. So that also, and also being able to know what is the position of God in the life of a human being. So when we say holistic wellness, that's much of it, and we try a little bit even in every show, even as we are talking about mental, to bring all those aspects together so that we can be able to understand them better. So when we are talking again about the wellness of the body, we talk about like diseases like the lifestyle diseases, many diseases like hypertension, diabetes, we have issues of cancer, we have arthritis. They have a lot of correlation with how our mental status is, and yes, so those are some of the things that we mentioned. So when we are saying that you need to be well in the mind, it means being well in the mind will affect how well I am in my body and in my spirit. So that is holistic wellness. So we continue with our topic that we had last week on childhood trauma and parenting, and thank you so much for the overwhelming response that we got, and just being able to see how much we were able to share. We really appreciate. So again, today on set I have Emmy, who is going to be together with us. This is more of a discussion, so we'll continue with the questions we were having on trauma and parenting, and maybe just a recap of what you were able to capture last time. Emmy will be picking on the areas we discussed last time. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam K, for having me once again. Thank you. My name is Emmy Njambi. Again, I am a counseling psychologist with Salem Consultants. I am honored and grateful to be here. Now, today we shall be continuing with a discussion that we had last week, which was basically about childhood trauma and how it can affect you as an adult, even the child, and even how it affects, And we basically said that trauma is like a wound. And if the wound is not healed, the wound is going to ooze out, all the pain, all the infection that has been there from it being covered up, and it will affect definitely the ones who are closest to you. So I think that was the easiest description that you could have given to us, and we truly, truly appreciate that. Now, if we look at where we stopped last time, we stopped at the issue of sexual abuse and abuse as a whole, right? And maybe you can tell us, because someone had actually asked. So basically, how does somebody heal? Because you said it is the parent as well as the child is going through the trauma. So is it the parents' fault that they did not recognize the signs sooner?
I think when we were concluding, we said trauma. Trauma are issues that happen to us, and some of them we have no control over, like issues of abuse. Remember this, most of them, these are criminal offenses.
Yes.
So someone has just violated your right. So blaming yourself on the mistake
Yes.
might really not, it's not a solution by itself. It is just adding the burden on yourself.
Wow.
So we may even complicate the healing process the moment now we are placing blame on ourselves. Two, as we talk about this, it's also good to know, remember also the person is going through loss. This is a topic we will be talking about, of course, next time. So you understand the process of loss. There is bargaining, there is anger, there is all this blaming, and all these things will happen because it is a loss. Someone has lost dignity that they have maintained for a long time. The safety of the child has been lost. So it is also a normal way of reacting to the problem. But now what happens when you carry the blame on yourself as the parent, you're putting such a heavy burden on yourself, which remember you require to really heal so that you can even be a support system to the victim. Because the one who is hurting more is your child who has been abused. So you need to also heal so that you can be a support system to this child. When you don't heal fast, of course it becomes a little bit harder for you to be able to become a support to this child who is now hurting more. So blame game, no. Is it a normal response? Yes. But don't allow it to exceed to a level where then it is making the burden too heavy on you.
Understood. Wow, you need to be healed so that you can actually support the child in that particular moment. Now, is there a way that you can shield your child from such predators and from such people?
Yes. And I would say the yes is bigger than the no.
Okay, that's hope.
Yes. It may not be hope to one that has already been abused, but if we are talking preventative, then we can. The issue of sex and sexuality is a topic I know we want to shield and cover it. We don't want to talk about it. As a society, we cover it. Emmy, this is my own research, and it is not scientific, so it's just the research of observation and just listening to different people. Many people who are in addiction, when you listen to their story, there is a touch of sexual abuse when they were children. People who have those childhood trauma pains, most of them have a touch of sexual abuse. Many families that are breaking today, it is sexuality.
Wow.
People who look at the people who have homicides that are happening in our nation, Kenya. Don't go beyond Kenya. The homicides. Many of them are connected to sexual something. It is either unfaithfulness, it is multiple partners, and in a marriage relationship it is extramarital affairs. It is either a young person who has just realized that the person they are dating is either cheating on them or with someone else, and they have spent so much on them, and it is a mixture of all that. So what happens is, when we don't address the issue of sex and sexuality, we are predisposing ourselves as a community, as a society, as a nation to a very prime environment of trauma. Emmy, because I know you've interacted with people who have trauma, the bigger percentage of it is sexual. So if we can be able to work on prevention, and prevention is sex and sexuality awareness on our children early enough. I said in our previous show that most of the sexual abuse happens by people close to the child. Relatives, sometimes even parents, siblings, uncles, cousins. So mostly it is people who know the child best. So this is not a matter of trust. It is a matter of safety and how aware the child is of what is actually happening to them. Many children who get sexually abused below the age of 10 have no idea what the predator is doing. They have no idea what it is. Some of them you hear when they are narrating the story, they said, I do this and I did and I did not know what was happening to me. That is the conversation. So meaning the responsibility of the parent. Remember we are talking about childhood and parenting? It is the responsibility of every parent, regardless of how exposed or not they are. As long as we've taken the role of a parent, there is an assignment we must take up. Of being informed on especially this area of sexuality and sex, and how we should empower our children so that they can be able to guard and protect themselves. Because the truth is, you will never be with your child forever.
24/7,
Sometimes you listen to these stories and you're almost left wondering, should I carry my child everywhere I go? It is not practical.
No, it's not.
So, but you can empower your child to a level that when such things are happening or they are about to happen, they can maybe pass a word, they can report, they can shout, they can run away. So I was saying that prevention and empowering the child, so we have to have a conversation about sex and sexuality. Simple preventative measures. Don't allow anyone to touch you, hug you. There is a trend I see. Young girls allowing themselves to be carried around by young men, and the men are sitting, allowing them to sit on their lap. The mess that happens in such scenarios, Amy, you don't want to imagine. So if you can be able to expose the child early to just protect themselves so that they don't expose themselves to such, then that will be of great help. There's the aspect of now talking about sexuality candidly. Remember we talk about sex and we call it tabia mbaya. When we tell a child that, we and of course the predator, the person who is coming to violate the child, will not be calling it tabia mbaya. Some of them will even tell them it is a game. Let us play this game. And the child knows for sure it is a game. I remember I was handling a case and this young boy was telling me, for him, he was sure that it is a game. And in fact, that it's a young man and a lady, a girl. They knew it's a game. They played it until around class 7 to realize it was not a game. But they began way into their 4 years, 5 years. Of course, a child at that age, if you have not had a conversation, they will think it is a game. So if there is not that information, I am already exposing my child to attacks.
So basically, as a parent, you have the responsibility of giving your child as much information as possible.
In the other show we said, the problems of Africa are problems of parenting.
Yes, yes.
We will blame corruption, we will blame the West, we will even call the East because China has come.
Yes.
We will blame everybody, we will blame the education system, we will blame everything we want to blame. But until as parents put our foot down and do things right, get information, be informed, we cannot afford to raise children like wild animals.
Yeah.
Saying that we cannot afford to raise children like some wild animals. You know, a wild animal is just born, I mean, taught a few traits on how to manage life and left on its own.
To fend for itself.
To fend for itself.
Yes.
So we must have a cause, an effect to every cause. Parenting has to become a little bit intentional. If I want to produce a person who is not corrupt, there is some work to be done. If I want to produce a child who is not carrying trauma, there must be work to be done. I have to be intentional in that. And the intentionality begins by me healing.
Okay.
If I want to take care of the sexual aspect of my child, so that the child is not exposed to all these manner of things that are in our society today, I have to be intentional on the same. Start nurturing them early. I cannot take sex casually and have the expectation that I will raise children who are sexually healthy.
Wow.
No, it is not possible. Look at how we have taken sex as a community today. Even our radio stations, our TVs, our social media, we talk about so casually. But when we go to school, when you hear the things we discuss, morality, you're like, excuse me.
It's not coming together.
It does not make up. Our parents are in premarital, extramarital relationships. They don't care how they handle it. They are watching porn. We have to be intentional.
Wow. Now, when is it too early to start this conversation? Is it ever too early to start having this conversation? And maybe to tie that question to something else is, how do I tell my child, or how do I give my child the information that it is not the right time perhaps for them to start engaging in sexual activities, those that say they now are starting to develop sexual feelings for the same sex, and also having just a boy-girl relationship that has now begun to be normalized? I know that was a mouthful.
For me to be able to remember, we said that parenting is observation.
Okay. Wow. Hey.
So it is not what I say and teach. There is a lot. Yes, there is that aspect of what I will tell. But the child, as I'm telling, is observing.
Wow.
I'll give you a scenario of my daughter when she was, I think, 6. We visited a place. And I remember wine was served. And at 6 already we have taken them to school and they church. And they already have some few things they are already capturing. And I remember that night we came and the girl is like, she was 6. She was like, you know, Mom, when we went to that place, I was looking at you and Dad to see if you will drink.
Wow. Wow.
And you know, Mom, I will never go to, I remember it was some birthday party. Me, I will never go to a birthday for that particular family again.
Wow.
Because they are drinking beer.
Wow.
That was the end.
Wow.
Of us attending. such.
Yes.
Because it told us it is not beyond telling them don't. But why are you also exposing them to? Why are you taking them?
Wow.
What are they seeing you do?
Yes.
In fact, the word was, I kept looking at you and Dad.
I kept
Yes.
looking
To see if
you will drink.
So as much as we are talking about this conversation, I know one of the reasons as to why we don't teach sexuality. It is because the aspect of sexuality, most of us, we are not living it right.
So we don't have the moral standing.
Yes, we don't have the moral standing to be able to teach it.
Wow.
Right. And that's why I said,
yes,
I have to have a cause and effect to everything, even the area of parenting.
Yes.
If I am raising my child, who do I want to produce at the end?
Wow.
Do I want to produce this child who, when they get to the university, they are getting married or they are marrying, and it is this guy to the other and the other one and the other? If this is the kind of child I want to produce, carefree.
Wow.
But if that is not the one I want to produce, I have to begin when they are very young as they can hear me and understand me.
Oh.
We are talking about even below 2 years.
Interesting.
Are children molested that age?
Unfortunately,
yes. So if the predator is coming early, information needs to come early.
Early, yeah. Wow, that makes sense.
So basically, it boils down to what values do I stand with? Because as much as we would really want this conversation to happen, I know I have gone to places and we are talking this topic on sex and sexuality, and it does not come so well in the ears of some people, and they will not call you back because you are stepping on their toes.
Yes. Because
of course, it is better when it is not discussed as candidly as we want to, because then it allows me to just live the way I want.
Yes.
But there will be consequences.
Wow.
So the reason as to why trauma that is in our society today, I said it is highly connected to the part of sexuality. It is how casual we have taken sex. And God knew the consequences of casualizing sex.
Yes.
That's why there are so many very clear guidelines on matters sexuality in the Bible. He knew the moment this goes free,
yes,
that it is the way I feel, it is what I want, it is what I choose. I mean, there are no guiding rules in the matter of sexuality. We will mess the whole society. And the devil is very happy. Yeah. We have messed ourselves.
Yeah. The family unity is completely destroyed.
Yes, we are in a mess. I mean, discussing the kind of things I'm discussing here cannot just be discussed everywhere.
Yeah.
It is almost a taboo to talk the way I'm talking.
Yes.
A few years back, it was a taboo to talk about those things. Now the promiscuity. But right now, it is a taboo to talk the way I'm talking. That is where we are as a society.
Yes.
So it must be a place of more of asking ourselves, do we want to continue with this trauma and blame everybody else and not us?
Wow.
So maybe that is how I should answer the question.
Go back to accountability. So the parent clearly has a lot of responsibility in how the child is going to turn out.
The Bible on many occasions says, the generation will tell the other.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
The deeds of the Lord. The Bible says in Malachi that God, the reason as to why God brings a husband and a wife together,
yes,
is to raise a godly generation. And back there it says that God hates divorce.
Yes.
Not because he wants you to remain as husband and wife. It goes down and says, because of raising a godly generation.
Wow.
So who a generation is, the mess we are seeing today,
yes,
is not the result of this generation. It is a result of the generation that preceded us. If nothing is done in this generation, if nothing is done to reformat the mess we have done,
yes,
we are getting worse.
yes,
because you can imagine now the generation of pornography, masturbation,
yes,
homosexuality,
dating apps,
bestiality, multiple partners. That is the generation that is supposed to raise children, the next generation. Can you imagine the level of trauma those children of that generation will be having? So if there is any correction we are doing, we have to just be intentional and say, can we go back to the crossroads? Where did we lose the way?
yes,
Because the truth is, we are a traumatized society.
yes. Wow. So all I'm hearing, Madam K, is accountability is needed in both the parent and the children, in even the kinds of decisions that they are making.
But
Cartoons, pornography, things like that, in the day and age where there is internet, and internet we already know is a beast.
It is not, because internet is what is making us stream this. So it's not a beast. It is just like the knife. The knife can be used to chop onions,
yes,
and tomatoes in the kitchen.
Yes.
It can also be used to stab and kill.
I see your point.
So it is using everything and every resource that we have for the right purpose.
Okay.
The children we are raising, I will be lying to you to tell you that we are in a position to. I'm almost feeling you're in that space. I'll be lying to you to tell you that we can control them from the internet. We will literally be not allowing them to live. That is the generation they have found themselves in.
Yeah.
We must understand this season as parents.
Okay.
Avoiding closing and disconnecting Wi-Fi and disconnecting sockets from and hiding the remote and locking the television and denying them phones. That's drama. Because these kids are smart. I'm telling you, they will have a way of accessing all those things without your knowledge as the parent. So be aware, connect yourself with what is happening, accept to learn how to raise them. But the moral compass is you. So there must be this moral compass that you follow, that they will follow.
Okay.
So if you don't follow any, they will follow none.
Makes sense.
So I am saying simply, it goes back to the parent. What are the value systems at home?
Yeah.
What kind of music do we listen to? What kind of dance do I do? On TikTok, what are the songs? Yes, I know it is reels and it is fun.
Yes.
And I even know that those status, those funny ones on WhatsApp, I want to send them to people so that they laugh, because I laughed. But because my child can also access them, what message will I be giving?
Wow.
So what is the moral compass
Yes.
that I'm using?
Yes. Again, it comes back.
Yes,
It comes back to accountability. Wow. Today, I think we should just label this discussion accountability because it seems to be the repeated theme. Wow. So maybe we can shift gears a little bit and move away from the sexuality for a little while, because I know it will come back a time later. Now, someone asked, how do I teach my child about God and relationship with God, especially if I struggle with it myself?
Wow. Matters God.
Yes.
Now that is the spirit. Remember again, our relationship with God is highly connected with our relationship with our parents.
Okay. Okay.
Because the way God had structured family was that it would be very easy for a child to be able to see God in light of how they related with family. And that's why we call God our Heavenly Father. Now look at a child who has never seen a father. And now you're introducing them to a Heavenly Father.
What is that? Wow.
I have interacted with people, and I've interacted with people on that particular aspect. I had to literally tell them that they deserve promises that are written in the Bible. Because to them it does not make sense.
Yeah.
Because they were denied that fatherhood part from the family.
Yeah.
So even when the promise is written in the Bible, still the child can look at it and they're like,
that sounds nice.
Is this one mine? Yes, it's a nice one, but is this really mine?
Does it belong to me? Yeah.
Do I qualify?
Yes.
So trauma is highly connected to how we relate with God.
Wow. I don't think anyone has ever put it like that. So basically, a child who has had an issue, maybe one sort of issue or other, within their family, will find it very difficult to even understand who God is.
Yes, it is a struggle. Connecting with God is a struggle.
Yes.
Because I told you the plan and the intention of God. We were to go back to Malachi.
Yes.
Malachi says that the intention of God was that a woman and a man will come together as a husband and wife so that they can raise a godly generation.
Yeah.
So the plan is this father has a relationship with God, the mother has a relationship with God, they are relating with each other, right?
Yes. Wow.
So they are raising children in that environment. So for a child who has not come from that ideal setup of God,
yes,
it takes grace.
Yes.
It takes purely that divine enablement of God for that person to connect with God.
Is it possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I said divine enablement. There must be a way they will encounter God for themselves without relating it with family.
Yes.
And the environment they are in. Otherwise, anytime they want to bring it home and connect with the things they went through at home, doesn't make sense.
Wow. Wow.
And there are so many people who have hated God because of how their parents who are supposedly born again or ministers in the church, how they saw them relate with God.
Wow.
So our trauma can be a hindrance for our children to relate with God.
With God. Wow, that's interesting. So that basically you're saying is a child can actually have a relationship with God for themselves without even the parent being involved in the relationship themselves, because here they said, especially if I struggle with it, I'm assuming that's the parent.
That's what I said.
Yes.
It is divine
grace,
enablement, grace. God in his own ways reveals himself in a very personified way to this particular person.
Yes.
Independent of what the parents have done.
Wow. I think that's very good to know.
But it is important to be so aware
Yes.
that how I've handled my trauma can interfere with the relationship of my children with God.
Wow. Interesting. So someone else also asked, how do I deal with my child's negative peer group?
Negative peer group.
Yes.
That's a question on parenting. And remember, parenting begins down when the child is younger. If you are able to guide and interfere
Yes.
with the relationships and connections of your child when they were younger, and guide them and see you as an authority.
Yes.
When they were younger, it becomes very easy to guide them when they are older. What we want to do as parents,
yes.
I almost have 2 teens now.
Okay.
What we want to do is when our child turns teenage, that is when we want to show up, you know. And I mean showing up, because earlier we were not present. We were not interested with who their friends are, where they go, because we perceived them young. So now when they are in teenage, we show up.
Yes.
And we want to know where are they going, who are they going, I mean, you are a stranger.
Wow.
In the space of that child, you are a stranger. They don't know you.
Yeah.
So please keep to your lane.
Wow.
That is the attitude of the teenager. If that is the scenario you are in, you have to go slow. You have to have that understanding that you are a stranger.
Yes.
So you have to be very slow. If you force yourself on the child,
yes,
they will rebel. Because one, you are not an authority, you are a stranger.
Yes.
Where were you?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was forming all these boards,
yeah,
who are happy?
Yes.
And then, who are you?
Now.
So that now I should explain to you who I'm talking to, and I have been talking to people all these years. Where are you? Where have you been? So when you understand that as a parent,
yes,
come slow.
Wow.
Tone down.
Yes.
Create a rapport. Be slow. Guide while detaching.
Yes.
Yes. Guide. Take out. Guide. Get out. Otherwise, if you guide with force, they will rebel. And the challenge with a teenager at that age,
yes,
is that they don't have the ability to see the consequences.
Oh.
So they will even do things to hurt you, to hurt themselves, to hurt you.
Oh.
You didn't hear that one.
They will try to hurt.
They will do things to hurt you.
To hurt themselves.
But they are hurting themselves.
But they are
Example, a child may start smoking bang. Not because they want bang,
no,
but because they want to show you that even bang I can smoke.
Wow.
The truth is, of course, bang is getting into the system. So who is it affecting?
Them.
The child.
Yes. Wow.
But you can imagine that tug of war has come because of you imposing yourself on them.
Wow. It goes back to last week's discussion on you should be present,
yes,
as a need for that child.
And not money.
And not,
and not the push life, and not the presents, and not school fees. I hear parents saying, what are they lacking? I give them everything. Everything is not clothes.
Wow.
It is not shoes. It's not the shoe they want. No.
It's you. Wow. And to also give them, be the authority.
Yes.
Not authoritarian, but be authoritative.
Yes.
And give them the room to actually give them the why. Wow. I think, wow. I'm learning so much. I think let's continue. So, someone else said, how do I know if my child is actually being traumatized or they are being spoiled?
Traumatized or spoiled?
Yes.
We talked about trauma and we said awareness.
Yes.
So if you're aware of yourself, you can be able to define trauma in another person. So when you are aware, when you are self-aware, you can be able to identify healthy living and healthy mindset and healthy mental status in another. When you are not, you can't.
You can't tell. Interesting.
And that's why you hear some people support bad behavior with statements like, you know me nowadays, I don't judge people. Everybody is going through things.
They're living their truth.
And you know, there's this life, many things are happening. So I don't want to judge. So can you imagine a parent talking like that about their child?
Where is the road?
The road? But also who will be their true north? Who will be the true north of this child? Who will guide them? Who have you given this responsibility of the direction the child should take?
Everyone else.
No, the truth is no one is guiding them.
Yeah. Wow.
Because that responsibility is only given
to the parent. So it's no joke to say that you're a parent.
Yes, parenting is a responsibility. But as I told you, Africa, we raise children like wild animals.
My goodness. Someone else asked, how do we support our children despite their weaknesses while being supportive and helping them to find their strengths? And maybe I can tie that to another question that has been asked, which is, how do I manage my expectations of my child without imposing? For example, they gave an example of giving an expectation of my child going to a certain school versus what my child is performing right now in school.
This again boils down to self-awareness. The awareness of the parent, which will help the parent to understand their child. When we talk about understanding my child, we are talking about, I know their emotional status. I know how they relate. I know their personality. Personality, You know the reason as to why I'm posting? It is because how many even of us know their personality?
Not many.
So how will I get to know the personality of my child if I don't even know my own?
Makes sense.
Let me give you this example. So again, allow me to use my child, my daughter. My daughter is self-driven. My daughter has been, from when she was young, I have never guided her with homework. She comes home, time for homework has reached, arriving home, does her homework. I'm talking about since kindergarten.
Wow.
Done, finished. So she only presents the homework for signing.
Wow.
Now this is how she operates.
Yeah.
Now look at, remember I said self-driven.
Yes.
Can you imagine now me imposing myself on her? What will I be doing?
Completely disorganizing.
I'll be killing who she is.
Yes.
Because she's used to doing things
her own way.
No, she knows what she's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And in fact, she even assists others to know what they are supposed to be doing. Can you imagine trying to interfere with that system of that child? I'll have messed the child completely.
Yeah.
Many parents who have